everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking episode titles for Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show, and yeah, they are real. They are actual episode titles for the second season, but they may not be the final titles, and we'll get into that in just a few moments. But we're going to talk about those today, and I'll match them up with those pictures from the press release for when Season 2 is going to release, which was September 1st, because we know which episodes those pictures were from, so we're going to try to match them up together and find out exactly where these episode titles fit into Season 2. So, if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here, at this point, it's probably self-evident. We cover Wheel of Time show news. Everything from the mundane to the fantastical, the rumor to the official. There's nothing too big or too small for us to talk about here on the channel, and oh boy, the next few days there's a bunch of videos coming out because we have a bunch of news to talk about, and I'm really excited about that because I enjoy doing this. So, if you like that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 20,000 subscribers prior to September 1st, which is the release date of Season 2 of the Wheel of Time. Pretty excited about that. And also, if you like what we're doing, like the video, share it around to your friends and family. It would help out the channel a whole lot if you can show your support that way, because we are trying to expand the reach of What Up just a little bit. So, there's that. Now, before we get into the actual video, I do have to give a bit of a spoiler warning, because not only are we talking about the episode titles, but we're going to talk about how they fit together and what's going to be in each one of them. I think I'm going to do a fair bit of speculation, which means that if I'm right, I may ruin some things for you folks. So, spoiler warning. In today's video, we're talking episode titles for Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. So, if you haven't already seen Season 1 on Prime Video or read the first 3 books, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, be forewarned, I may ruin things from both of those mediums. Alright, so these come to us from a couple of different sources, and I want to thank a few people up front. Me Raving Mad, Safel and Rational Nerd. I've left links to their Twitters down below in the description box. It came from a bunch of different places all at the same time. It was up on Reddit. It was in a few different spots there as well, but those are the spots that I knew it came from originally, at least that I knew of. If you know anyone else who shared it around the same time, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll pin that comment to give them credit as well, or perhaps edit the description box. But either way, thank you so much for this. It came from a bunch of different people all at the same time. Essentially, how did this come about? Well, WGA is a website where scripts and different things are submitted, including the titles for those scripts, and it's a public website. You can go on there and you can poke around and you can see different things, and someone found the episode titles for a few of the Season 2 episodes. Not all of them. We're talking the first 6, which makes sense because we did know the first 6 episode titles for Season 1 well in advance of the first season dropping, but we didn't know episodes 7 and 8 because, again, Amazon loves their mystery for some reason, and they like to keep things close to the vest and kind of secret, even though we all know what it's going to be about. We all know it's going to happen. At least we can speculate pretty heavily in this. So we didn't know the episode titles for episodes 7 and 8. In fact, we didn't know any of the cast that was being introduced in episode 7 or 8 in the first season until, well, pretty much when the episodes released, even though it had been leaked and everybody knew about it and we're talking about it, because Amazon, like I said, likes their mystery. They like holding things close to the vest until the last second. And it seems kind of weird to people like you folks who are watching this video, or me, we're all pretty invested in the fandom, and we're up on the news, and we like leaks, and we're kind of looking for things all the time. It seems strange to us, but to the average viewer, and the average viewer is not a book reader. The average viewer is not really invested in the fandom. They're not on Twitter. They're not on Reddit. They're not searching through everything. It will be a mystery. In fact, for Season 1, we knew that the dragon was Rand right from the get-go. However, a lot of people watching the show didn't, and they didn't even bother to Google it. So it was a mystery to them until it was a big reveal later on in the season. So Amazon likes those sort of things, and that's why we're seeing the first 6 episode titles here, and why I want to stress that they may be changed, not because we found them, but because it fits better in with the story and what they're doing. That's likely, so it could happen. Now, A Taste of Solitude, Episode 1. We know for sure that's Episode 1, 100%. And why do we know that? Well, we know that because the social media handlers for the Wheel of Time kind of screwed up big a while ago, and they released a picture of the script of Season 2, Episode 1, kind of like they were doing for Season 1 to promote each one of the episodes. It was probably a misclick. They uploaded the wrong picture. But to get out in the fandom, everybody knew what was happening there. So we know that A Taste of Solitude is Episode 1. Now, we also know that those pictures they released with the release date of September 1st each had an episode kind of tagged along with them, and that was in the press kit. So we're going to try to fit some things in here. Now, we know A Taste of Solitude would include this picture of Egwene in what we assume is the kitchens in Tarvalon, and it kind of looks like she's working in there. She's in maybe not novice white. She might be in just a kitchen type uniform, but she's definitely in the tower in this picture. We also have this picture of Matt, sort of upset. You can look in the background, you can kind of see some of the same architecture, some of the same carvings that we see in the tower. So likelihood is that he's in the tower, probably in the dungeon. We've seen other promotional material that showcase the fact that Matt is being held captive. So A Taste of Solitude, perhaps that has a couple of different things here. We have Matt being alone and lonely, kind of locked up in the tower. We probably have Egwene and Nynaeve being separated at some point and put in the tower from all their friends as well. So there's kind of solitude, kind of alone as well. We're probably going to see Perrin getting together with the Shienarans in the first episode to try to go on the hunt for the horn. So he's sort of alone as well because all of his friends have left him. Matt's being held captive in the tower. The girls, Egwene and Nynaeve, are in the tower. And Rand is definitely on his own in the first episode because he took off in episode 8 of season 1 to, he's on the run. He took off from Moraine in the Blight on his own in the Blight. So he's by himself too. So all of episode 1 is probably everybody alone, which why a Taste of Solitude, which is a chapter title, but not till much later on in the book series. Far beyond book 3, actually. It kind of makes sense here. But either way, we see this picture of Matt, we see a picture of Egwene. They are both from episode 1, A Taste of Solitude, which is kind of neat. All right, so now we get into a little bit of detective work, because we have the titles for 6 of the 8 episodes for season 2, but we don't know which order they're going to be in. The only one we did know that I just talked about was A Taste of Solitude. So we have some pictures from the press junket for some of the episodes, but not all of them. So for episode 2, we have no pictures from that press junket, so we can't really use those to help us out, but we can kind of use the ebb and flow of the story. Now, when they were placed up on the WGA site, this is what it looks like. It's an order of sorts, at least anyway, but not a chronological release order, so this is of no help whatsoever. Kind of cool that it's there, but you can see all the episodes from season 1 are jumbled, and season 2, episode 1 is before season 1, episode 8. In this list, so that this is of no help at all. But if I had to guess what's going to take place, I'm going to say Eyes Without Pity is likely going to be episode 2. Why, you ask? Well, because they're going to have to start introducing the Dark Friends. They're going to have to do the Dark Friends social, which we've seen from other promotional material. We're probably going to see the Dark One talking to them that way. My guess is Eyes Without Pity will be season 2, episode 2. Mainly because they're going to introduce that early so we can see what's going on with the White Cloaks and the Shan Chan and everyone else who's hunting for the Dragon Reborn and his friends. Eyes Without Pity is my take on what we're going to see for episode 2. Now, episode 3, we do have 2 photos from the press junket. We have this photo here. This is Nynaeve. This is in the accepted testing chamber, or at least what we think is the accepted testing chamber, mainly because this is the exact same location that Rafe and Sarah were in when they did the Q&A for Jordan Con, and they gave us a whole bunch of hints about it. There's costume changes, there's water, there's blood, there's a bunch of different people. It's very important in both season 2 and season 3. We'll see it in both seasons. That, coupled with the fact that we see Nynaeve here in her shift in a picture of what seems to be the exact same chamber, for episode 3, my guess is this is probably the accepted testing chamber. And we have also this picture here of Lan sitting atop Mandar, looking very regal and amazing. That's a beautiful costume, I gotta say that much. That's also from episode 3. So we have these 2 photos from episode 3. Is this particular photo of Lan from the accepted testing? Because we know that when Nynaeve goes through her testing, she basically goes to a bunch of different mirror worlds. The way will come back but once be steadfast. That's straight from the books. Is this from that, or is this from him and Moraine traveling together to Cairhien? We really don't know. Not 100%. But because we know that she's probably going through her testing in episode 3, I'm going to say what might be is likely the episode title for episode 3, because the mirror worlds and everything she does in the accepted testing goes right along with the title, what might be. Now, with episode 4, we do have a photo, and it's of Moraine in what we assume is Cairhien, because we know she goes to Cairhien in season 2. It's actually listed in the synopsis for the show. What could be happening here? Well, if she's going to Cairhien, she's likely meeting Rand there, because Rand does go to Cairhien during the Great Hunt, and the events that transpire there make him go to Falma. We don't know if we're going to see Varen Sedai there. We don't know if we're going to see the rest of the Shannarans, as well as Perrin and who Avienda, because we know that Avienda is traveling with Perrin in season 2 because of the released audition tapes. We don't really know who else is going to be there, but for sure we know Moiraine is going to Cairhien because she's trying to figure out exactly how to gain access to the power again from what we assume is a shield. A lot of people are saying she's stilled. I 100% I'm not on board with that at all. There's a lot of evidence to the fact that she's been shielded for at the end of season 1. I've gone through that in a number of different videos. It's talked about extensively in the fandom. It's pretty much almost accepted fact she's shielded. So, if Moiraine is going to Cairhien in episode 4, we know this picture here. This is from episode 4, and this likely looks like it could be Cairhien, maybe the Foregate, or perhaps the city itself. I would say Strangers and Friends is a very good bet for the episode title for that particular episode 4, mainly because there's going to be a whole lot of different people around Rand if he's in Cairhien that are strangers, and then he's going to meet some friends. Same with Moiraine. She's going back to her homeland, back to her home city. There's going to be a ton of people she doesn't know, plus a bunch of old friends that she's going to meet, especially in the royal courts. My guess is Strangers and Friends for episode 4. All right, so now we're talking about episode 5. Now, in my mind, there's only one title in this list that could be for episode 5. If we take a look at the press junket picture, there's only one there, but I split it up into 3. It's this one here. Ferez is a dark one, or a Shamael, with Loyal in the background. Who is this? Likely Suroth. And then next to Suroth, likely Alwyn, her voice played by Jessica Boone. Now, this isn't official, of course. Jessica Boone hasn't actually been announced as being Alwyn, or her character name's not been announced. But if you take a look at the pictures, this is Jessica Boone, almost 100%. And the haircut suggests that she is a voice, because the voice of the throne does have the right side of the head shaved and the left side braided. So I've gone through this in my other video. Likely Alwyn. Either way, very Seanchan heavy themes for episode 5. And we only have one Seanchan name in these 6 titles, and that's Damane. Now, you'll notice that Damane is spelled wrong. You're probably wondering why. I was. And we don't know. We really don't know. Could have been just an honest mistake. You'd like to think that Amazon doesn't make mistakes. They make tons of mistakes. They're like every other major company and corporation and government in the world. A lot of mistakes are made. It just happens. People are people. They make mistakes. This could have been misspelled completely by accident. However, there are some theories in the fandom that it was misspelled on purpose, because Damane is the pronunciation of a couple of different things. Exact same pronunciation. Damane is women who can channel who are called by the Seanchan. That's Damane. Damane is also a culture in the Wheel of Time. So maybe, just maybe, they're changing the spelling of them just a bit to better reflect how they sound. I don't know. I like to think they probably just mistakenly misspelled it. That's my guess. Either way, episode 5, in my mind, is most likely Damane. Now, episode 6, we don't really know what episode 6 could be. We have no photos from episode 6 whatsoever, but there's only one last title on this list, and that's Daughter of the Night. So maybe episode 6 is where we see Lanfear. I would guess that's probably a really very good time for this, especially considering that a lot of people tend to think that Suroth and Lanfear are going to be the same character in the second season. Perhaps in episode 6, it's revealed that Suroth is Lanfear. That's why we have the Daughter of the Night. It's quite possible. That's what I think anyway. In episode 7, we don't have a title here for it at all. We don't know what it is. In episode 8, also, we don't have a title, but we do have a couple of pictures. So for episode 8, we have this photo here of Avienda and Perrin. Now, the caption on it's kind of funny because it says that Avienda and Perrin are both ready to fight. Perrin does not look ready to fight. In fact, he looks horrified, much like Perrin did most of the first season. I don't think we're going to see fighting Perrin until the 3rd season when we get to the Battle of the Two Rivers. Either way, this is Avienda and Perrin on the set of Falma. We know for sure this is a set of Falma because we have a million leaks, and I've covered them here on the channel. I have set videos, I have pictures from people who were there, I have testimony from vendors. You name it, this is Falma, 100%. We also have this photo of Rand. Now, Rand is in kind of like a Jedi-esque type outfit with a sword on his back. And what you're not seeing in this photo here is in the background of 2 Seanchan banners on the wall. So this is likely the Fortress of Falma, and that's where Rand is. This is episode 8. Episode 8, I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's probably the Battle of Falma. That's what I'm going to say the title of episode 8 is. Couldn't guess at 7, but if I'm going to guess, Battle of Falmer for episode 8, because we're pretty sure at this point that episode 8 is completely centered around what they filmed in Morocco, which is mostly Falma. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm close. Am I close to the order of picking them properly? Do you think that these are going to be the official and final episode titles? Because remember, just because they're put up in WGA doesn't mean they can't change. They 100% can change. Amazon can change the episode titles to see anything. They could be called red, blue, green, 1, 2, 3. We really don't know. They could do anything they want. But prior to release and prior to the official announcement of the episode titles, this is just, we'll call them working titles right now, even though we're pretty sure they'll probably stay the same. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so very much for sticking with us here to the very end, and here's to many more.